Liverpool v Man United, 1981. The Perry Boys go to Anfield. In this video, we rewind to October 1981 and a new breed is in town. The Perry Boys were a new terrace subculture and they were keen to impress. So 200 of them turn up at Liverpool's Anfield Road end. What could possibly go wrong? Let's hear the stories. First, we have Man United Perry Boy Paul, who told us. Autumn 81. No tickets, no plan. Just swagger and suede. That was how we did things back then. We were the Perry Boys. A sharp crew from the southern edges of Manchester, stitched together by clobber, cuts, and the urge to front it out wherever we went. We weren't a big mob, but what we lacked in numbers, we made up for in style and steel. Terrace culture wasn't just about toe-to-toe. It was about outdressing and outlasting. And that day in Liverpool, we needed both. We were on the train up to Lime Street, buzzing and looking the part. Lois Jumbo cords, Pringle knits, Adidas Forest Hills, Taquini track tops, and Fred Perry everything. On board, we ran into a handful of old United heads, the scoreboard paddock lot, looking like relics from a different age. One of them offered, "Stick with us, lads." But their clobber was tragic. Stone-washed denim, scuffed Stan Smiths, and one lad even had a Harrington with pins on it. No thanks. The Perry Boys were cutting edge, not charity shop chic. 200 of us bail out near Stanley Park, a mixed crew by then, quite a few of us from Didsbury, some from Gorton, even some from Stockport who tagged along. It was early November, and bangers were going off all around like some urban war zone. You could taste the tension. Then we saw them, a handful of stocky scousers in Patrick Cagoules and deerstalkers, swaggering round the corner like they owned the city. They weren't alone. Behind them, a swarm of underfed little toe rags with bricks in their hands came tearing at us, barking and lobbing whatever they could. Proper Anfield welcome. The sky was full of missiles, and we were hemmed in with no dibble in sight. I paused, just for a second, and some older red from another mob grabbed my collar and snarled, "Stand your ground, lad. No fucking surrender." That shook me awake. We surged. No tactics, just instinct. We met the scallies head-on and forced our way down the alley, shielding ourselves with bin lids and shouting abuse. One of our lads got clocked in the mouth with a brick, but he didn't go down. It took ages to push through that red brick hell, but eventually we made it to the turnstiles at the Annie Road end. Here, the dibbles showed up, all moustaches and menace. "Tickets?" they barked. Blank stares. "Back to Lime Street, the fucking lot of you." We were cornered, 10 of us now. The rest had all got tickets somehow, so no plan B. That's when I had the brainwave. "Scouse accents," I whispered. "Pretend we're locals. Pay into the home end. Blend in." I was all right at a Scouse twang from watching too much Brookside, but Reedy and Little Vic sounded like extras from Coronation Street. Still, we gave it a go. The queue behind us at the turnstile started filling with local faces, lads who'd clearly clocked we weren't from Kirkby or Dingle. Their eyes glinted, full of the kind of anticipation that came before a mugging. We made it through the tunnel and legged it to the far right corner of the Anfield Road terrace, as far from the United section as possible. No sooner had we got our footing than we heard the dreaded words, "Manx, oi, they're fucking Manx." The shout went up. The terraces came alive. Hundreds came surging down at us. They weren't looking for banter. They wanted blood. I saw Vic, blonde wedge gleaming like a beacon, get swallowed by the crowd and vanish up the steps. He was wearing brand new birthday clobber, red kickers, green Lois needle cords, a beige Pringle crewneck, and looking mint. For about 10 seconds, a rare breed of Scouse stewards stepped in and barked, "Hold the railings, don't let go." He stood in front of us like some human riot shield as wave after wave of scallies tried to land one. We clung on for dear life. I had on my Adidas Hamburgs, bleached FUs, a pale blue Jaeger cashmere jumper, and a tan suede bomber I'd robbed from my dad's wardrobe. Reedy was rocking Diodora Borg Elites, pale Levi's, and a navy Lyle and Scott V-neck. Our perms were pure Argentina 78, long at the back, neat at the front. We were peacocks in a pit of rats. Every minute some little scrote would slip from the crowd and throw a punch, sometimes 2 or 3. We gave back what we could, elbows, knees, the odd boot. But we weren't standing tall, we were just surviving. It was like being on a zoo exhibit, with wild animals hurling abuse, spit and fists. Then came the big moment. They spotted the Hamburgs. "Where'd you get them trainers, you mank twat?" one of them spat. "Saint-Tropez." Big mistake. They lost the plot, trying to tear them straight off my feet. Grabbing, pulling, screaming. I had to kick one lad square in the face to stop him from yanking off my right foot. The steward was swinging like a nightclub doorman, doing his best to hold them back. Madness. Then United scored. Pandemonium. We couldn't celebrate, but inside we were bouncing. A couple of other Mancs in the end got rumbled and were dragged out kicking and screaming. One got thrown down 10 steps like a rag doll. As the game wore on, things simmered. Until he arrived. Every ground had one. The knife-wielding psychopath who turned up at 3/4 time. He was soaked through, in a battered leather jacket, steam rising off him like a wet dog. His eyes were pure hatred. "Manc bastards." He started quietly, then erupted. "You stole the look off us, yeah? You fucking nicked it all. The perms, the clobber, all from us. Look at yourselves. Fucking copies." He stood inches from me, snarling, veins bulging. His little mob gathered behind, twitching with anticipation. I could smell the blade. He wanted to mark me. We didn't move. Too knackered, too wired, too numb from the adrenaline to be scared anymore. The steward clocked what was about to happen and pulled us behind the crash barrier. Then United scored again. We lost the plot, jumping up, arms aloft. The Scousers lost their minds but couldn't reach us now. We celebrated like madmen, grinning, fingers in the air, shouting every word of a chant we'd barely dared whisper before. After the whistle, the police frog-marched us round to the United end, getting pelted with spit and coins the whole way. Inside the United section, a few hard stares softened when one of our own clocked us. "Perry boys!" he shouted. Relief. Outside, the war wasn't over. Scouse mobs were still hanging round, and the local police didn't hide their contempt. One of them muttered, "Should have let them finish the fucking job." We regrouped at Lime Street. Vic turned up soaked, bleeding, and minus his kickers. He'd been chased through Stanley Park for an hour, seen all kinds of horrors. Solo Mancs battered, one lad robbed for his coat and left in his socks. But we were all still standing. Liverpool away in the early 80s wasn't a football match. It was a rite of passage. And the Perry boys passed the test in suede and stitches. Anfield Road Ender, Joe told us. You could smell 'em before you saw 'em. Manc perfume, bit of Kouros, bit of fear. It was the early 80s, and United were in town again. That meant 3 things. Decent gear to rob, soft lads trying to act game, and a bit of sport round Stanley Park. We were the Annie Road lads, not the biggest crew in the city, but we had the spot. Right under the noses of the away fans, right in the action. We weren't into that badge-kissing copite nonsense. This was the graft end of the ground. Fellas who wore taquini tops on tick and knew what to do with a brick. Anyway, news had come through that a firm calling themselves the Perry Boys were coming without tickets. Perry Boys. Sounded like a hair salon. They were meant to be all about fashion, but most of them looked like catalogue models for Burton's. Designer, yeah, but soft, like dressing up a plate of custard. We clocked the first lot near the estates by the park. 2 lads in matching Pringle jumpers, one in a pair of green Lois flares, like it was still 78. They clocked us, panicked, and started walking like they were just there for the museum. One of our kids lobbed a banger into a wheelie bin next to him. They jumped like fish. Round the corner, a few of the older lads had blocked the route to the Annie Road end. Not with numbers, just with bricks. No point getting your hands dirty if gravity can do the job. You'd see him come running, all confidence and Adidas, then stop dead when the sky started falling. Later I was already inside. Slipped in early through a steward we had on side. Always handy having someone on the inside, especially when you've got a blade taped to your leg and a wallet full of someone else's cash. We watched the Manx come in disguised as home fans. It was comedy, lad. One of them even tried to talk Scouse, but sounded more like Frank Sidebottom. They ended up penned in down the corner near us. Easy meat. One of them had on Adidas Hamburgs, and one of our lads, Chunky Kev, clocked 'em straight away. "Where'd you get them, lad?" he said, smirking. The Manc went Saint-Tropez, like that was meant to scare us. Next thing you know, Kev's got him by the ankle, and the lad's hopping like a tit, trying to keep his trainee on. Should have glued it down. And they kept trying to front it out, which was even funnier. Taking little digs, throwing elbows, acting brave. But you could see the panic behind the perms. Couple of them had decent clobber, I'll give 'em that. One had a suede number on that looked nicked off a catalogue shoot. But they weren't cut out for it, not round here. Second half, one of their lot, this ratty little streak of piss with a posh voice, actually celebrated when United scored. His arms went up before he realised where he was. Our lot gave him a 10-second education in local etiquette before the stewards dragged him out, nose sideways. That was how it went. Few of them made it out, few didn't. Some probably still hiding in the bogs. We weren't impressed. Just another away mob trying their luck. A few nice coats, no punch. After the match, we ran some of them all the way back to Lime Street. Couldn't catch them, though. The others were escorted by hundreds of busies. We attacked them with bottles and bricks. At no point did they try to break their cordon. But that was United in them days. Big mouths, bigger perms. But when it kicked off, they folded like paper. Anyway, we saw 'em off, like we always did. Then we went the pub. Another Saturday. Nothing to write home about. Thanks for watching. We thank Paul and Joe for their recollections. It's clear that the Perry Boys weren't just an urban myth, but had a very real presence in firms up and down the country. The Perry Boys 200 may have bitten off more than they could chew at this event, though. What do you think? Were you there? Please comment, like, share and subscribe, as it really helps our channel grow. Until the next video, bye for now.